Hello everyone and welcome to Barca News. It's January 23rd, 2023, and the Moroccan midfielder who Barcelona were very interested in signing, Sofyan Amrabat, was seen at the Spotify Camp Nou. Also, the club are currently reportedly negotiating with the Brazilian club Flamengo to try to sign a new right back, and it's being reported that Lionel Messi will not be extending his contract with PSG. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and as I reported in yesterday's video, Barcelona defeated Getafe 1-0 at the Spotify Camp Nou in La Liga. And with this victory, Barcelona have taken home 3 very important points that will allow them to stay at the top of the league for at least one more week. Now, as I said in yesterday's video, Barcelona did not perform well in yesterday's match, where the team did not really propose much, and the attack once again did not seem to have any ideas or strategies on how to unlock Getafe's low block defense. And as a result, the team weren't able to create much chances or danger, except for the first and only goal of the match, where through a quick transition, Rafinha was able to provide an assist to Pedri, who was then able to score a beautiful goal. Now, it seems that I'm not the only one who thinks that Barcelona did not perform well. Xavi also was not impressed with how the team played, and in the past post-match press conference, he said, "I don't think we played well. We were off our game. We did not attack well. We did defend well. It is hard to attack against such a low block. We have to improve, but it was a really important win. We kept a clean sheet. We were good without the ball, but we didn't create enough. You could feel the mental tiredness from the Supercopa. It's 3 points without playing well." Now, speaking of this match between Barcelona and Getafe, Sofyan Amrabat was seen at the Spotify Camp Nou watching Barcelona play. Now, Sofyan Amrabat is the 26-year-old center midfielder who currently plays for the Italian club Fiorentina, and he was one of the best, if not the best, center midfielders throughout the World Cup, and there is no doubt that he was one of the main reasons why Morocco was able to create history when they became the first African and the first Arab nation to reach the semi-final in the World Cup history. Now, Sofyan Amrabat is a player that Barcelona were considering signing in order to replace Sergio Busquets in the pivot position once the Spaniard leaves the club. And yesterday, he was seen at the Spotify Camp Nou watching Barcelona play. Now, Sofyan Amrabat has no links to either club. He doesn't have any family members who are players or are members of any of those clubs. So he was completely there on his own accord, which is, of course, very interesting. And as a result of this sighting, rumors began to swirl that Barcelona are currently negotiating with the Moroccan midfielder in order to sign him. Now, the club have confirmed that there was absolutely no meeting, negotiations, or communications with the player, and that Sofyan Amrabat was there on his own accord. But the club did confirm that there is a strong interest in possibly signing him to replace Sergio Busquets. Now, of course, the signing of Sofyan Amrabat will heavily depend on how much his current club, Fiorentina, will ask for the player, because after all, the Serie A club will be looking to cash in on their player, since most of Europe are currently after the Moroccan midfielder. Now, I personally would love to see Sofyan Amrabat in Barcelona. I think he has all the qualities and skills to replace Sergio Busquets in that pivot position. As he showed us in the World Cup, he is very strong defensively. He has a great vision of the field, and he makes very accurate passes. And I think he would be the perfect replacement for Sergio Busquets in that center midfield position. But of course, as always, I would love to hear from you. Please drop a comment down below letting me know whether you would like to see Sofyan Amrabat in the place of Sergio Busquets. Now, with this victory against Getafe, Barcelona will now turn their attention to their next opponent, which will be Real Sociedad in the quarterfinals of the Copa del Rey, which will take place on Wednesday, January the 25th. Now, this will be a very difficult match for Barcelona because Real Sociedad are currently playing some of the best football in the entire Spanish league, and that's evident in the results of their matches, where they're currently sitting third at the Spanish at La Liga's table. Now, to make things even worse, La Liga have just announced who the referee will be for this match, and it's no other than Gil Manzano. Now, if you think this name sounds familiar, it's because Gil Manzano has screwed us over and over again all throughout the past. And in fact, the last time Gil Manzano was the referee in a Barcelona match was in that match between Barcelona and Osasuna, where Gil Manzano red-carded Robert Lewandowski. And thanks to Manzano's report card where he said that Lewandowski touching his nose like this was insulting him. And as a result, Lewandowski received a 3-match ban. And that's why the Polish striker had to miss the matches against Atletico de Madrid, Getafe, and he will be missing the next La Liga match for Barcelona. Now, Gil Manzano is also the referee who was involved in a scandal several years ago where he was seen leaving the Santiago Bernabeu with bags of gifts with the Real Madrid logo on them. And I honestly can't believe that someone like this involved in such a scandal can still be allowed to referee. But nonetheless, there he is. He will be refereeing the match between Barcelona and Real Sociedad, and the team are going to have to be 100% more extra careful, and they're also going to have to play 200% better in order to mitigate any damage that this referee could cause Barcelona. Now on to the news that Barcelona are reportedly negotiating with the Brazilian club the signing of Wesley Franca. Now, Wesley is a 19-year-old right back who currently plays for the Brazilian club Flamengo, and it's reported that he's one of the most promising young talents coming out of that club. And Barcelona scouts are very impressed with this player, and they have reportedly began negotiations with Flamengo for the signing of this right back. Now, Wesley Franca's contract was set to expire in this year, 2023. However, he extended his contract until 2025. And it's reported that his agents have already been dispatched to Rio in order to begin negotiating the exit of the player. Now, it seems that Barcelona are interested in a 1-year loan with an option to buy at the end of that contract. And they're also interested in having Wesley Franca split his time between the Barca Athletic and the Barcelona first team. Now, this shows once again that Barcelona are doing a great job in scouting and trying to sign young players. And these are the kind of players that Barcelona need to be signing, young players with a lot of promise who can arrive at the club at low cost. Because if they do end up working out, then this is a great business transaction for Barcelona, where they get to sign a star for very low. And if they don't end up working out, then it's not a big deal because the club did not spend much money on them. Unlike some of the past signings where the club spent hundreds of millions of euros on players like Griezmann and Coutinho, who didn't end up working out for the club. Now, I also like the deal that Barcelona are currently trying to negotiate, which is a 1-year loan with an option to buy, because that gives the club an opportunity to test out the player and see if he is good enough. And if he is, then they can go ahead and sign him on a permanent basis. And if not, they can send him back to Brazil. And I also like that he will be splitting his time between Barca Athletic and the first team, because sometimes when players make such a big jump to a top team like Barcelona, that big jump ends up ruining their career. So it's good to start them out slow, playing some matches with Barca Athletic to get them in the rhythm of competition. And then if they are good enough, have them play for the first team. And that could be an easier transition than going straight into the first team, which could prove too much for a player and end up ruining any prospects that that player could have. Now on to the big news that it's being reported that Lionel Messi will not be extending his contract with PSG. Now, we've been talking about Messi for several months now because there's been a lot of speculation about what he's going to do in his future, since his contract is set to expire with PSG at the end of this season. And it was reported that Lionel Messi was not going to make a final decision in regards to his future until after the World Cup. Well, now that the World Cup is over, it was being reported that Messi had decided to extend his contract with PSG for 1 more season, since the Argentinian believed that he could still play in Europe's top 5 leagues. While Gerardo Romero, the journalist who's based in Barcelona and who's very close to the club and who always has some of the most reliable information in regards to the transfer market, dropped a huge bombshell today saying that Lionel Messi will not be extending his contract with PSG. Now, immediately after Gerardo Romero made this statement, several French media outlets came out saying that this news was false, and amongst those media outlets were journalists who are very close to PSG, and they all denied this report, saying that Lionel Messi will be extending his contract with the Parisian club for at least 1 more season. Now, despite this contradictory reports, there's been a lot of talks about a possible return of Lionel Messi to the club. And every time there's been linking Messi to Barcelona, I've always said the same exact thing, which is that we need to not get our hopes up because the possibility of Messi coming back to Barcelona are very small. Now, I would love to see Lionel Messi come back to the club so he can have a proper goodbye, but nonetheless, it doesn't look like it's going to be possible because his relationship with Joan Laporta has completely deteriorated because the Argentinian feels that he was betrayed when he was let go and his contract was not renewed. Now, there's a lot of reports saying that this relationship is beyond repair, and if Lionel Messi does come back to Barcelona, it's going to be after Joan Laporta and his board of directors leave, which by then, of course, Messi will be retired. So if he does come back, he would be coming back in an administrative role rather than as a football player. Now, even if the relationship between Messi and Joan Laporta were good, given the club's difficult financial situation and the financial fair play rules, it'll be very difficult for Barcelona to try to bring Messi back, and the club would have to do some economic miracles like offloading several players or selling one of Barcelona's biggest players in order to sign Messi. And I just don't see Barcelona making such a huge economic sacrifice in order to bring back a 36-year-old player, even though he is one of the biggest legends in the history of the club. Now, finally, Lionel Messi, if he does come back to Barcelona, he's going to want a primary role. And Barcelona have made it clear that if Messi does come back to the club, they want him to come back in a secondary role because they want to give priority to younger players like Pedri or Gavi. And after all, the club are trying to build a team for the future, and having Messi come back and play as in a primary role and take playing time away from younger players would go against that goal. Now, of course, this is football and everything is possible, but as I've always said, it's very important that we not get our hopes up because the likelihood of Messi coming back to the club are very small. It's not impossible, but it's very and highly unlikely. Now, we'll end today's video with the news that Barcelona have been linked once again with the signing of Marcos Asensio. Now, the Real Madrid player's contract is set to expire in the summer of 2023, and Barcelona have been linked with his possible signing several times in the past months since Barcelona are in the market for free agents. And Marcos Asensio's main priority right now is to extend his contract with Real Madrid, but it seems that the Madrid-based club want to renew his contract but offer him a much lower salary, which Marcos Asensio is not in favor of accepting. Now, as a result, it's reported that Barcelona contacted Marcos Asensio's camp once again in order to see what are the players' plans for the future. And as a result, Barcelona have been linked with him once again because after all, the club are interested in having Marcos Asensio on the squad. Now, I personally would not like to see Marcos Asensio on the squad because, first of all, as a player, I think that he was something that had a lot of promise, showed a lot of promise, and had a lot of expectations that he simply did not live up to them. And secondly, even if he was a much better player than he currently is, or had he lived up to the expectations that we all had of him, I don't like to see Real Madrid players in Barcelona, especially right now where the club are building a new project that has gone through a lot of ups and downs and that will inevitably continue to go through a lot of ups and downs. And right now we need players who are dedicated to the team, who want to fight for the team, who want to fight for the colors and fight for what the club stands in order to get the project going. And having a player who was at heart a Real Madrid fan ever since he was a little kid is just not gonna feel the project, is not gonna sacrifice and work as hard as someone who grew up as a Barcelona fan. But as always, I would love to hear from you, so drop a comment down below letting me know whether you would like to see Marcos Asensio on the Barcelona squad. So that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a like. Also, I would like to invite all of you to please leave a comment down below, giving me all your thoughts and opinions about all the news that I share with you. And finally, I would like to invite all of you to please subscribe to the channel so you can stay current on all the latest news in regards to our beloved club, FC Barcelona. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. And as always, Peace, Barça.